Ahoy! Today I'm going to talk about runes, both essence and blended runes, explaining how they work and which ones you should learn. Now, first of all, in case you didn't know that, runes can be learned by using your ability points. You can see those if you press U. There's that yellow bar down there, just below your XP bar. Every time that is filled, you gain 1 AP. If I'm not mistaken, you gain ability XP together with normal XP. And after every 10 million points, you get an ability point. Let's begin with the essence runes. I think I've got all of the necessary ones on my characters, save for penetration, but maybe in due time I'll learn that too. So, the basic ones first. No matter which class you're playing, you're going to need defense rate and attack rate. Those are really useful to help you with those annoying blocks or save your life. Defense, HP and attack are also needed for obvious reasons. Of course, a magic class should learn magic attack instead, like myself. Then there are 3 runes for the base stats: strength, intelligence and dexterity. As I mentioned in my previous video, learning those lets you extract a few points from your other stats and focus on the most important one. In my case that's intelligence, so I extracted 10 points from both dexterity and strength to put them on intelligence. Health steal and health steal limit are also pretty useful. If you don't want to use one of the slots of your gloves for health steal, then this rune is a must-have. As for the limit up, plus 15 HP for each hit you deliver can make a pretty huge difference when fighting. Maximum critical rate is also needed, no matter which class you're playing. 3% more of that is essential, and if you ask me, you should learn and max that, even if you don't have enough critical rate to fully use that. You're going to be using aura or getting more critical rate later, so you'll make use of it either way. Critical damage and skill amp, well, those are pretty obvious as well. Of course, once again, sword classes should learn sword skill amp. Damage reduction is one of the more expensive runes, but I can assure you plus 50 of that is a lot. If you could farm Eternal Chaos Arena before learning that rune, you're going to think it's a child's play once you do learn it. I've also got Accuracy and Ignore Penetration. Those take tons of ability points to develop and are expensive as hell. I don't think you should focus on getting any of those two until level 200 unless you get your hands on one of those account binding runes from an event. Accuracy makes you miss your hits less often, and Ignore Penetration decreases the damage dealt to you by other players mainly, though some monsters also have penetration, so it's not entirely useless in dungeons either. Penetration is probably the best rune out there, but due to this and its rarity, it is also the most expensive one. I haven't been able to get my hands on one of those, but I'd like to in the future. And I've also got down resistance. There are runes to resist stun and knockback too, but it's your choice which one of those you wish to learn. I chose down because that's probably the most common in dungeons and also when fighting other players. But if I find a penetration rune, I'm probably going to delete it. Or I could just extend my runes once more to have 19 slots, but currently there are no essence rune slot extenders around and I can't craft them. Speaking of which, you can actually craft those from the items you obtain in Elite Premium DX dungeons. The main problem is the recipe being so expensive to unlock though. See, you can't use Chloe's tokens for that one. And last but not least, I've got All's drop amount, but that's only temporary. I used to have MP Steel on level 1 but replaced it with this one for the duration of the bingo event. I think if you're playing another class you won't need MP Steel, but it's incredibly useful for a wizard, especially when using BM2. All those skills are eating up your mana potions like mad, not to mention being able to use BM2 with decreased MP from mana freeze or other debuffs. Oh, and speaking of mana, if you're a sword class you might want to consider investing into an MP rune. In Awakened dungeons and when fighting Force Bladers, it could be useful for you to have a little reserve, and it's still a better solution than a passive skill for MP. Now, let's move on to the blended runes. Normally you have 3 slots here as well, but you can extend those to as much as 9. You can buy the extenders from NPCs for 150 million alls each, or obtain them during events. I did the latter. A word of warning though, some people might not know that those can be bought from NPCs and I've seen some cunning players who were selling them for a lot more than that, probably trying to trick others into buying them, so please don't fall victim to them. Anyway, blended runes have three types, one for monsters, another for players, and one that can be activated on both. As you can see, they've got a percentage value called activation chance. That means every time you attack the correct target, there's that much chance for the rune to be activated. I know there are people who are often confused by this, so let me get it clear. The rune is activated only for that single hit. It doesn't have a duration or anything. That means that, for example, when Defenseless is activated, it increases your damage to be as much as if your target had 100 points fewer defense, while Force Dance, for example, increases your magic amp value for that single hit. The activation chance is bigger the longer your skills casting time is, and it's also probably more when using special skills such as battle mode skills. Now that this is clear, let's discuss which ones to get. You should first decide whether you want to use them against monsters or against other players. Basically, I think the one for attack and skill amp, of course different ones for sword and magic classes, should be in your collection, as well as the one that decreases your target's defense. You can also learn Cure. That's a universal one which heals your character every time it's activated. That means it can be activated when attacking both monsters and players. However, from my experience, it's mostly activated whenever your health is already full. Another thing I should note is that you can actually learn all three levels of the same blended rune, so that you'll have higher chances for any of those to be activated. According to the update notes, you can only have 3 blended runes active at the time. Apparently, I misunderstood that, and perhaps you did as well, so let me clear it up. You can learn 9 runes altogether, and all of them have a chance to be activated at any time you attack the correct target. But only 3 of them can be activated at a certain hit. Well, you don't have to worry too much about that. With an activation chance of 1%, it's unlikely to have even 2 of them active at a hit. So the point is you can use all of those runes at the same time, and having 9 of them means that your chances are actually pretty good. Oh, and one more thing before the bingo event is over. Blended runes are rather cheap now, so you may want to get a few of them and save them for later. Perhaps we'll be getting rune slot extenders as an event reward soon. You can never know. Well, thank you for your attention, and I certainly hope this video will prove useful. If you have any questions, requests, or you think I missed something from this video, please don't hesitate to comment. If you found this video helpful, please consider sharing it or subscribing to my channel. Ahoy!